Jared stepped carefully on the soft red grass of planet Naluan. His boots made little sound as he walked through the glowing jungle, his eyes scanning the strange plants around him. He was a human botanist, sent from Earth to study alien plants and their effects. Naluan was peaceful but very mysterious. Huge trees with purple bark stretched above him, their leaves wide and shining under the twin suns. Bright fruits of every color hung from vines and branches. Jared took out his scanner and pointed it at a glowing green fruit hanging low on a thin tree. The scanner blinked red. Unknown. Strange, Jared said to himself. Never seen this. In the reports. Suddenly a soft voice behind him made him jump. You should not touch that. Jared turned around quickly. Standing there was a tall alien girl, slim, graceful, and glowing slightly in the sunlight. Her skin was soft blue, her eyes large and silver. She wore tribal armor made of vines and crystal plates. Her hair was long, white, and braided over her shoulder. I didn't see you there, Jared said, a little embarrassed. I am Zilari, she said with a light bow. I study the plants too. That fruit, it is not for eating. Jared smiled awkwardly. Just curious. I'm Jared, Earth scientist. She stepped closer and looked at the fruit. It is called the Luanok. It only grows during the double moons. It is sacred to our people. Jared nodded, trying to sound respectful. Got it. Sacred fruit. Noted. Zilari smiled at his awkwardness. She found his human voice funny. He was different from the other visitors. He wasn't loud, he wasn't arrogant. He was curious, gentle, and kind. But then her stomach made a soft growl. Jared heard it and laughed. Hungry? Zilari blushed slightly. Maybe. I have not eaten since morning. Jared opened his satchel and took out a small earth ration bar. Here, want some? It's not as tasty as your glowing fruit, but it works. She took the bar and sniffed it. Smells like metal and salt. But she took a bite anyway. Her face twisted. Humans eat this? It's good for hiking. Jared chuckled. Zilari looked at the Luanok fruit again. Maybe just one. Taste, it won't hurt. Before Jared could stop her, she reached up, plucked the fruit, and bit into it. No, wait, he said, but it was too late. Zilari froze. The juice from the fruit glowed bright pink as it touched her lips. Her eyes widened. She dropped the half-eaten fruit. Her body began to change. Jared watched in horror and confusion as her chest suddenly started expanding. What's happening? She gasped, her face turning bright purple with embarrassment. Jared's mouth dropped open. I don't know. I didn't mean to. She grabbed a leaf and tried to cover herself. Her hands shook. Her armor was tight, and now it didn't fit properly. You fed me a body-altering fruit, she shouted, blushing deeply. I didn't feed you anything. You took it yourself. Jared replied quickly, holding up his hands. I didn't know it would do that. Zilari turned away, hiding behind a large, glowing mushroom. I can't go back to my tribe like this. They will laugh at me. Hey, calm down, Jared said gently. Maybe it's temporary. Maybe we can fix it. She peeked from behind the mushroom, her face still bright. You don't understand. This fruit is used for mating rituals. Jared's eyes went wide. Mating? She nodded, mortified. Only a bonded female is allowed to eat it. It changes her form, makes her more appealing. Silence. A bird-like creature flew past, screeching. Jared scratched the back of his neck. Well, I guess you look very appealing now. Zilari stared at him. Then she groaned and covered her face. You're not helping, human. I'm sorry, he said quickly. I didn't mean to make your coconuts bigger. She gasped at the word. Coconuts? It's a human word for never mind, Jared said, turning red. For a moment, they were both silent. Then, despite herself, Zilari laughed. Jared blinked. Wait, are you laughing? She nodded, still hiding her face. Yes, I look ridiculous, but you're even more embarrassed. Then I am. Jared smiled, relaxing a little. I'll help you fix it, I promise. Sailari looked at him, still blushing, but this time there was a small sparkle in her eyes. Okay, human, but if this doesn't go away, I may have to keep you. Jared's eyes widened again. What? Sailari smiled teasingly. You break it, you keep it. That's our rule. Sailari sat by the small campfire, her arms wrapped tightly around her chest, trying to hide the changes. Her cheeks still burned with heat, not from the fire but from something much stronger. Embarrassment. Jared, sitting a few feet away, was just as awkward. He kept glancing at her, then looking away quickly whenever she noticed. The silence between them was heavy, broken only by the soft crackling of the fire and the distant hoot of glowing night birds. Above them, 2 moons hung in the sky, one blue, one pale green. The light made the jungle look magical, like a dream painted with soft colors. Sailari cleared her throat. It's still growing. Jared nearly choked on his water. What? I mean, still? She nodded slowly. The fruit doesn't stop until certain feelings end. What kind of feelings? Jared asked, confused. Sailari looked into the fire and whispered, Desire. Jared blinked. Wait, like attraction? She nodded again, not looking at him. The Lua Nok fruit was made for bonded couples. It increases in beauty when the female feels attraction for the one who gave it to her. There was a long pause. Jared rubbed the back of his neck. So, this is my fault? Sailari shot him a shy glance. Not fully. I bit the fruit, but it only reacts like this if the feelings are real. Jared stared at the flames, trying to process everything. So you're saying the fruit thinks you're into me? She threw a small pebble at him. Stupid. Human, I'm into you. Jared blinked. Wait, seriously? Sailari turned away quickly, her silver hair swinging like a curtain over her face. I noticed you before. You're different from other humans. You're not loud. You listen. You respect the forest. You gave me your food. Well, yeah, Jared said softly. You were hungry. What kind of person wouldn't help? She looked at him again, her voice quieter now. Kindness is attractive, Jared, and I've never met anyone like you. Jared's face turned red. He wasn't used to alien girls saying things like this. She hugged her knees, her eyes shining in the moonlight. Now I'm stuck like this, swollen, warm, and too shy to walk back into my village. Jared chuckled nervously. Well, I guess I'll have to help you hide until we fix it. Fix it? She asked, raising a brow. You think it's a disease? No, I mean, if you want to go back to normal. Sailari looked down at herself, at the way her armor barely fit. Now how everything felt more sensitive and noticeable. I'm not sure I do, she said quietly. That made Jared sit up. Wait, what? I always felt invisible in my tribe, she admitted. I was quiet, bookish, not strong like the warrior girls. No one noticed me. But now, I feel different, confident, beautiful, powerful, and it's because of you. Jared was speechless. Sailari leaned closer. This may be strange for you, human, but on Naluan, body changes from bonding fruit mean something real. A kind of link. You mean like your soul linked to me now? She smiled. Not quite, but the bond has started. If I keep feeling this way, the changes will stay, maybe even grow. Jared laughed nervously. So I gave you magical alien body upgrades by accident, and now we're halfway into an alien romance? Sailari rolled her eyes. When you say it like that, it sounds ridiculous. They both laughed softly. Suddenly, a loud snapping noise came from the bushes. Sailari froze. Jared grabbed his scanner. Another snap. Then a growl. Something large moved in the shadows. Sailari whispered, "Hide the fire." Jared kicked dirt on the flames as Sailari grabbed his arm and pulled him behind a thick tree. Her breath was fast, her body close to his. The growling got louder. Jared whispered, "What is that?" Zilari's eyes narrowed. A night stalker, drawn to heat and scent. Jared suddenly realized they were pressed close together, and Zilari was still warm from the fruit's effects. The creature sniffed the air. Zilari whispered quickly, "It will follow my scent. We need to run." "Then let's go." She held, his hand tight and bolted through the glowing trees, dodging roots and branches, her body moving fast despite the changes. Jared struggled to keep up. They ran and ran until the growls faded behind them. Finally, they reached a small hill and collapsed behind a fallen log, breathing hard. Their hands were still holding each other. Jared looked at her. She looked back, and, once again, she blushed. He smiled. "Still growing?" She covered her face and laughed. "Shut up, human." The next morning, the jungle was quiet, but not peaceful. Zilari stood near a pool of glowing water, trying to wash her face. Her armor still didn't fit right. Every movement made her chest bounce in a way that made her groan and roll her eyes. The changes from the Luanok fruit were not going away. Jared watched from a distance, sitting on a flat rock, his backpack beside him. He had offered her his extra shirt earlier, but she refused. "It smells too much like human mail," she had said while blushing. Zilari returned to the fire pit. She didn't sit. "Jared," she said softly, "we can't stay hidden forever." He nodded. "You want to go back?" "I have to," she said. "My people will start searching soon. If they find me like this with you, it will look bad." Jared sighed. "Yeah, I figured." They walked toward the village together. Jared stayed a few steps behind just in case anyone saw them. But as they reached the outer trees, voices could already be heard. Loud, angry ones. "There she is," shouted a warrior alien with red tattoos. "Zilari." More aliens surrounded them. They wore tribal armor, sharp spears glowing with energy. Some were guards, others were villagers. "Where were you?" a tall female shouted. "You disappeared during Moonwatch." Another stepped forward and pointed at Jared. "What is this thing doing with you?" Zilari stood firm. "He is my friend. He saved me from a night stalker." Someone in the crowd hissed. "Why do you look like that, Zilari?" Now everyone stared at her chest. Zilari's body tensed. She crossed her arms, her face turning purple again. "She ate the Luanok," a voice shouted. "The bonding fruit." Gasps followed. Whispers spread quickly. "With a human? Impossible. She broke the sacred law. Maybe he forced her." "No," Zilari said loudly. "He didn't. It was an accident. He didn't know what the fruit was. I bit it on my own." An elder pushed through the crowd. Her horns were long and silver, her face painted with ancient symbols. "Silence," the elder shouted. Everyone quieted. She stepped up to Zilari and looked at her closely, then at Jared. "You allowed the human to touch sacred ground?" the elder asked. "I was watching him," Zilari answered. "I warned him not to touch the Luanok. He respected the rule, but I got hungry and I took a bite. It reacted." The elder's eyes narrowed. "The Luanok does not react for no reason. The fruit listens to desire. It only grows during bonding season. If it activated, there must be feeling." Zilari looked down. "There is." Gasps again. One alien male growled, "She's in heat for the human." "Shut up," Jared finally shouted, stepping forward. "Don't talk to her like that." Now all eyes turned to him. The elder walked over slowly and studied him. "You care for her?" Jared nodded. "Yes." The elder turned to the crowd. "Then let the old ways decide." A hush fell over everyone. "The right of truth," the elder said. "If their feelings are real, they will pass. If not, the jungle will take them." "What is the right?" Jared asked. Zilari whispered, "It's a trial for those accused of false love." Jared looked confused. "But we're not lovers." Zilari gave him a side look. Apparently the fruit thinks otherwise. The elder handed Zilari a small crystal. "You must return to the jungle by moonrise," she said. Find the heart bloom. It only shows itself to true bonds. And, if we fail, Zilari asked. You will be exiled, the elder said. Forever. That night, Jared and Zilari stood at the edge of the jungle again. I can't believe I'm being punished for making a girl blush, Jared muttered. Zilari smiled. It's not just the blushing. It's the fruit, the touch, the feelings. Do you really feel something? Jared asked quietly. Zilari didn't answer at first. Then she took his hand. I didn't mean to fall for you, human. But your kindness, your jokes, the way you look at me like I'm more than just a body. She looked at him seriously. I want to find the heart bloom. I want to prove we belong. Jared nodded slowly. Then let's go find it. Together, they stepped into the glowing jungle hand in hand, not as strangers this time, but as something more. The forest watched them, and it was hungry for the truth. The jungle was quiet, but not empty. Jared and Zilari walked carefully between glowing trees and thick vines. Strange plants moved slightly as they passed, as if watching. The sky above was dark now, with only the twin moons casting soft light through the canopy. The heart bloom shows itself only to real bonds, Zilari whispered, holding a small crystal in her hand. It tests us. Jared glanced around nervously. What kind of test, like riddles? Zilari didn't answer. That silence told him the answer was worse. The deeper they went, the more alien the world became. Trees whispered, vines pulsed like veins, and pools of water reflected faces that weren't their own. The air grew heavy, sweet with flower scent. But it carried tension too. Then came the first test. A wall of roots suddenly burst from the ground, blocking their path. The roots twisted and curled, forming an archway, but with two different paths behind it. One path glowed red, warm, and bright. The other was cold and dark, filled with fog. Zilari looked at the crystal. It pulsed in her hand. We have to choose, she said. Jared frowned. I bet one's a trap. Zilari studied both paths. This is the trial of intention. One path tempts the body, the other tests the heart. Without waiting, Jared stepped toward the cold path. Zilari looked surprised. Why that one? Because I didn't come here for your body, Jared said softly. I came because I care. Zilari's blush returned, but not from shame this time. They entered the cold fog together. Inside the fog, they lost sight of each other. Zilari? Jared called. I'm here, her voice echoed. But I can't see you. Suddenly, a soft female laugh echoed near Jared. He turned and saw another Zilari, but this version was wearing almost nothing, her voice sweet and seductive. Why chase a bloom when you could have me now? She whispered. Jared stepped back. You're not real. The fake Zilari stepped closer. Aren't I everything you desire? No, Jared said firmly. You're just her body, not her mind, not her heart. The fake Zilari hissed and vanished like smoke. On Zilari's side, a vision appeared too, of Jared. He was strong, confident, offering her the crystal and asking her to run away with him and forget the trial. We don't need approval, he said. Let's live free. But Zilari stepped back. The real Jared wouldn't run. He stands up when it's hard. He listens. He fights for others. The illusion melted. Suddenly the fog cleared. They saw each other again, and the crystal in Zilari's hand glowed bright blue. You passed, a voice echoed through the trees. From the shadows stepped a massive creature, an old forest guardian. Its body looked like walking bark with eyes that glowed like stars. Moss hung from its arms and vines curled from its fingers. You seek the heart bloom, it said. Jared gulped. Yes, sir. Tree? The guardian looked at Zilari. Do you love this human? Zilari stepped forward. Yes. But I don't think I understood what that meant, until now. And you, human, the creature rumbled. Do you accept what she is, body, mind, and alien soul? Jared nodded. Yes. I didn't come here to change her. I came to stand beside Her. The guardian studied them in silence. Then it stepped aside. Behind it, deep in a circle of glowing flowers, bloomed a single giant plant. It looked like a giant heart made of petals, glowing with every color of the jungle. The heart bloom. Zilari whispered in awe. The guardian spoke once more. Only those who see beyond desire may touch it. Zilari looked at Jared. He reached out, and together, their hands touched the flower. The bloom pulsed, then slowly opened, revealing a small fruit inside. Unlike the Luanak, this one glowed soft gold. Zilari gasped. This fruit, it's a bond keeper. The final sign? Jared grinned. Well, I think we earned it. The jungle shook gently, like it was purring. The trial was passed. They walked out together, hand in hand, bonded not by accident anymore, but by choice. The village was waiting for them. As Jared and Zilari stepped out of the jungle holding the glowing golden fruit from the heart bloom, the crowd that had once jeered now stood silent. Warriors, elders, and even children stared, in shock. No one expected them to return alive, and definitely not with that fruit in their hands. The heart bloom, someone whispered. It revealed itself? It hasn't bloomed for 100 seasons. Zilari held her head high, though. Her chest still made her armor sit awkwardly. Jared walked beside her calmly, but he could feel the tension in the air like a storm about to explode. The elder with the silver horns stepped forward again. Let the trial end, she said. They have returned. Show me the proof. Zilari opened her palm, revealing the golden fruit glowing softly in her hand. A collective gasp swept through the crowd. The elder stared at it for a long time, her eyes narrowing. You touched it, saw together? Yes, Zilari answered. And the guardian let you pass? The elder asked. Yes, Jared said. We walked through the trial of intention. We faced the illusions. We saw the truth. The elder turned her back and looked toward the temple. This changes things, she said, but before anyone could relax, a loud voice interrupted. This is a trick, shouted a male warrior from the crowd. He was large, with red paint over his face and a long scar down his chest. Koresh, Zilari said under her breath. Koresh stepped forward with his spear. That fruit could have been stolen. The jungle has been fooled before. This human has bewitched her. I wasn't bewitched, Zilari snapped. I chose him. Koresh looked angry. You were mine. You were promised to me before the moons aligned. Gasps again. Jared looked confused. Wait, what's he talking about? Zilari's face darkened. My family once told Koresh he could ask for my hand if no one else claimed me by this season. They never thought anyone would. Koresh growled. And now you come back with this soft, pink outsider? Jared stepped forward. You think strength is only muscles and shouting? She deserves someone who listens, not someone who owns her. Koresh bared his teeth. Then fight me for her. Jared blinked. What? Zilari grabbed Jared's arm. You don't have to do this. The elder raised her staff. Enough. The crowd froze. The elder stared at Jared. You passed the ancient trial. You brought back the bond fruit. But now the old ways demand a final choice. She turned to Zilari. Only the bonded one may declare her heart. Everyone looked at her. Her lips trembled. Her fingers tightened around the fruit. She stepped forward and held up the golden bloom. I choose him, she said clearly. Jared of Earth. He is my bond, my heart, my partner. A silence fell over the village. Then someone began clapping. A soft sound, one of respect. It was an old female, blind in one eye. Then another joined, then more. Koresh shouted in rage and stormed away. The elder finally nodded. Then it is done. By bond and bloom you are recognized. Zilari exhaled in relief. Jared looked around, shocked. Wait, we're accepted? The elder smiled faintly. You are not just accepted. You are the first true bond between Naloon and Earth. Later that night, the tribe held a quiet celebration. No loud music, no shouting, just firelight, food, and calm smiles. Jared and Zilari sat together under the stars, a soft blanket wrapped around their shoulders. She leaned her head on his shoulder. Still feel like it was an accident? He laughed. No. If it was the best accident of my life. Zilari giggled. Even with my coconuts? He turned red. Especially those. She threw a berry at him. They both laughed, but deep inside they knew something big had started. Not just between them. Between two worlds. The jungle trial was over. The tribe had accepted the bond. But peace did not last long. 3 days after, Jared and Zilari's union was recognized. A large metallic shadow fell over the skies of Naloon. Everyone in the village looked up. A human starship was landing. Zilari's eyes narrowed. That's not one of ours. Jared's stomach sank. That's the Eureka, Earth's diplomatic science vessel. I didn't think they'd come here, yet. From the ship's ramp stepped 2 armored officers, a stern human woman with silver hair and a tall man in navy blue uniform. Behind them, a floating probe scanned the area. Dr. Jared Halston, the woman said sharply. You were expected to return 2 weeks ago. You've gone dark. Jared raised his hands. Yeah. Got caught up in some fruit-related problems. The man beside her looked at Zilari, and then her very noticeable enhancements. He blinked and whispered something to the officer. Zilari crossed her arms and narrowed her eyes. We've reviewed jungle surveillance. You engaged in unauthorized contact with a native, the officer said. She's not just a native, Jared replied. She's my partner. The woman frowned. That may be, but Earth Council has rules. You are not allowed to initiate interspecies, romantic bonds without clearance, especially not during an active study. Zilari took a step forward. He didn't initiate anything. I did. The floating probe spun faster, zooming in on her body. Jared stepped in front of her. Hey. Enough. Scanning! The male officer spoke up. There's more. The Luanok fruit was classified as highly reactive. You fed it to her? It was an accident, Jared said quickly. She bit it herself. But the effects are permanent, the woman said. We cannot ignore this. She pulled out a small tablet and tapped a button. Jared's datapad beeped. A message appeared. Order. Return to Earth immediately. Subject Zilari is to remain on Naloon for observation. You are to cease contact. Jared looked up in shock. You're separating us? Zilari's voice dropped into a growl. Try and take him. I dare you. The officers looked at each other, unsure. They hadn't expected resistance from the alien female, or for Jared to stand tall beside her. I'm not going, Jared said firmly. I'll resign. I'll stay here. That's treason, the officer warned. Jared didn't blink, then call me a traitor. The probe buzzed louder, almost confused. Suddenly, a bright golden glow came from Zilari's satchel, the fruit from the heart bloom. It floated upward, shining with a strange power. Everyone stared. The officers stepped back. The fruit pulsed and then split open. A thin stream of golden light flowed from it and wrapped around Jared and Zilari, connecting their hearts like a ribbon of energy. The Earth officers gasped. What is this? The woman whispered. The tribe elder stepped forward from the crowd, walking slowly with her staff. You do not understand this world, she said calmly. The heart bloom does not only bond lovers, it binds souls. The jungle has claimed them, both. They are one now. If you separate them, both will suffer. The light faded. The floating probe dropped to the ground with a clunk. Life signs merged. It reported before shutting down. The officers stood silent for a long moment. Then, to everyone's surprise, the woman officer sighed. I'll report. This is a biological bond approved by native trial law, she said. Earth Council can't argue with jungle gods. Jared smiled. Thank you. She looked at Zilari. But keep him in line. He's got a history of wandering. Zilari smirked. Oh, I'll keep him very busy. Jared blushed. Oh, boy. That night, under the twin moons, Jared and Zilari lay together on a soft bed of moss inside her newly built jungle hut. Glowing flowers hung from the ceiling. The air smelled sweet. Zilari traced her finger along the mark on Jared's arm, the symbol given by the heart tree. "You really were ready to leave your world for me," she said softly. "I already had," Jared whispered. "The moment you bit that fruit." She laughed. "You and your fruit accidents." He pulled her close. No more accidents, only choices. They lay together in silence, their hearts beating as one, bound not just by the fruit but by something far stronger. The bond fruit had changed everything. Zilari and Jared were no longer just a couple. They were a symbol. The first true, interspecies pair between humans and Naluan. Their story spread faster than the wind. Villagers began whispering tales of their jungle trial, of the golden light that connected them, but peace never stays forever. Only 3 weeks after the Earth, officers left, a new kind of visitor arrived. This time it wasn't diplomats, it was thieves. It started with a soft buzz at night. Jared sat up in bed inside their leaf-covered hut, hearing something outside. He grabbed his scanner, eyes narrowed. Zilari was already awake, her sharp hearing picking up the same sound. "Stay inside," she whispered. She moved to the window, spear in hand. Her armor had been rebuilt to fit her enhanced shape, and now she looked like a true Naluan warrior, beautiful, strong, and still blushing whenever Jared looked at her too long. Outside, 2 shadows moved among the trees. Small drones zipped between leaves, scanning the jungle floor. Jared stepped beside her. "Those aren't Naluan." "No," Zilari said coldly. "Those are poachers." The next morning, the village was on alert. 3 sacred trees had been cut, 2 villagers were missing, and worst of all, the second heart bloom had been stolen from a hidden grove. The golden fruit had been removed, its energy drained. The elder gathered the tribe in the main circle. "This fruit was not just a bond," she said. "It was protection. Our jungle is weakening." Zilari stood beside Jared, fists clenched. "Who would do this?" Jared's datapad suddenly pinged. A message flickered on the screen, from unregistered signal. "Your bond fruit caused quite the stir, Dr. Halston. Our buyers thank you. But there's still one left. Inside her." Jared's blood ran cold. He showed it to Zilari. She read it silently, then whispered, "They want me." That night Jared refused to sleep. He set up traps around the hut, rerouted old scan drones from his lab, and kept a stun baton in his hand. Zilari watched him, touched, but worried. "You can't protect me from the whole galaxy," she said, softly. "I'll try anyway," he replied. She smiled, stepped close, and kissed his cheek. "Still blushing?" she teased. He grinned. "Always." Then her face grew serious. "We have to stop them. If they steal the last bond fruit, they'll try to sell love like it's a weapon." At sunrise, Zilari led Jared to the deep jungle, further than either had gone before. "This is the place where the heart tree first grew," she said. "If there's a final bloom left, it'll be here." They walked through vines that moved like serpents, past giant flowers that hummed lullabies. It felt like a dream. Suddenly the air turned cold, the trees thinned, and in the center stood a stone altar. A single golden fruit floated above it. "It's still alive," Zilari whispered. But they weren't alone. A sharp crack echoed through the trees. Jared grabbed Zilari and dove to the side as a laser bolt scorched the ground. From the shadows stepped a tall human man in black gear, followed by 2 alien mercenaries. One of them held a shock net, the other held a pulse rifle. "Easy now," the man said. "We're not here to hurt you, just want the fruit. You can keep your romance." Zilari growled. "That fruit is part of me." "That's why it's priceless," he replied. "People are paying fortunes for a shortcut to true love." Jared stood up slowly. "You can't steal this. You don't even understand what it does." The mercenary chuckled. "Don't care. We'll figure it out. Once it's ours," the man nodded, "and take them." The fight was fast and chaotic. Zilari moved like lightning, leaping into the trees, flipping over one mercenary and slamming her spear into the other's weapon. Sparks flew. Jared tried to keep the drones between them and the fruit, using his baton to deflect the shock net. But he wasn't a warrior. He was a scientist. Soon they were surrounded again. The man grabbed Zalari, holding her back. "I'll cut it out if I have to." Her eyes widened. "You'd kill me? For the right price?" He smiled. "Yes." Just then, the forest screamed. Every tree bent forward. Vines lashed out. Roots broke from the ground and wrapped around the attackers. The jungle itself came alive. Jared shouted, "The heart tree is protecting her." The mercenaries tried to run, but it was too late. One was pulled into a glowing flower and vanished. The other was wrapped tight by roots and dragged into the soil. The man dropped his knife and bolted. Zalari picked up a stone and hurled it. Crack! He collapsed. The jungle calmed, and the golden fruit pulsed, stronger than ever. Back in the village, Jared and Zalari placed the fruit inside a sacred crystal orb. It glowed gently, now safe. The elder spoke before the crowd. "The forest chose to protect her. That proves her bond is true. But it also warns us. Others will come. Greedy ones." She turned to Jared. "What will you do now, human?" He looked at Zalari. She smiled. "We build something better. Together." 6 months later, a joint human-Naluan research outpost had been built, run by Jared and Zalari. But it wasn't just science. It was love, medicine, peace, and understanding. They helped other couples bond, the right way, through trials, not shortcuts. Tourists came from all over, not for fruit, but for stories. And in the center of the jungle, near the old altar, a statue stood tall. A human and an alien girl, holding hands, smiling, forever blushing. Final scene. Inside their hut, Jared cooked something in a pan while Zalari laid on a pillow, her hands on her now rounded belly. "You still blush when you look at me," she said. Jared smirked. "You still make it hard not to." She giggled. "Our child will have the biggest coconuts in the galaxy." He dropped his spoon. "Zalari," she laughed so hard the hut shook. Final line, and though it started with an accident, it ended with a bond so powerful, even the galaxy blushed.